Good afternoon to all. Welcome to this online tutorial session of the course Engineering Thermodynamics. In this particular session, we will try to see some of the numerical problems based on the concept of entropy. Okay, so we will discuss three numerical problems over here. So let me show you the first numerical which we'll be discussing. So the first problem, it is two 5 kg blocks of steel, one at 250 degrees Celsius and other at 25 degrees Celsius, come in thermal contact. Okay, we have to find the final temperature and the total entropy generation in the process. Okay, so what we are having, if you see the question, we are having two blocks which are placed side by side. Okay, and both the blocks are actually made up of steel. So the material of first block is also steel and second block is also steel. And at the same point of time, mass of both the blocks is nothing but 5 kg. Okay, so the initial temperature of first block is 250 degrees Celsius and initial temperature of second block is 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, now the question is, if both come in thermal contact with each other, what will be final temperature and what will be the total entropy generation in the process? Okay, so it's quite clear. The first block is having high temperature and second is having low temperature. So if they come in thermal contact, we will be having transfer of heat from the first block to the second block, and this heat transfer process will continue unless or until both the blocks are reaching to the same temperature. Okay, and it is also quite evident that in this particular process we will be having generation of some entropy. Why we will be having entropy generation? Because we are having this heat transfer process between the finite temperature difference. Okay, one block is at 250, other is at 25, and they are having finite temperature difference. Obviously, once these are reaching to the thermal equilibrium, their temperature difference will be becoming same, and at that time our heat transfer rate will also be vanishing. Okay, but before that, we will be having actually situation of finite temperature difference while heat transfer is taking place. Okay, so one data is not provided over here. Let me write over here. The specific heat for steel is 0.46 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, so this is one additional data, specific heat of the steel. Now what will be happening, what we have to do before finding out the entropy generation, we have to first determine that what will be the final temperature of these blocks. Okay, so how to determine final temperature? I can consider this is my say T1 for first block. Okay, so first block initial temperature is say T1 and for second block initial temperature is say T2. Now when both the blocks will be having heat transfer, so we will be finding that this heat transfer will continue unless or until we are reaching to a final same value of the temperature for both the blocks. So let me write that final temperature of both the blocks is nothing but T. So this T is final temperature of both the blocks. Now if I write the conservation of energy, so I can say mass of first block into C of first block. So obviously both are having mass M, so I am writing symbol M on both the sides. So first block will be having loss of heat, so M into C, and initial temperature of the first block was T1 and final temperature is T. So this is the amount of heat which has actually transferred from block 1, and this heat has actually entered into the block 2. So that's why amount of heat lost from first will be equal to amount of heat gained by the second block. So second block is having M into C. Now it is having heat gain, so that's why its final temperature will be more and initial temperature will be small. So for second block I can write T minus T2, and I am using T as final temperature for both the first and second block because after coming in thermal contact they will be reaching to the equilibrium condition. Okay, so from here if you calculate, the MC will be cancelling out, T1, T2 are known, so I can simply determine the value of temperature T. So T will be coming out as nothing but equal to 137.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is the value of final temperature after they are coming to the thermal contact. Now what I have to do, I have to determine the total entropy generation. Okay, so let me first write down the entropy change for block 1. So the entropy change for block 1, delta S1, will be nothing but equal to integral del Q by T, and this integral del Q by T will be having minus sign because from the first block we are having actually loss of heat. Okay, and as the process is happening through finite temperature difference, so I will be writing over here S generation for block number 1. Okay, similarly I can write delta S2 as nothing but equal to integral of del Q by T. Now block 2 is actually receiving the amount of heat. So that's why for block 2 I can write plus del Q by T. Okay, and then plus S generation for block number 2. Now it is asked in the question that we have to determine total entropy generation. Okay, so S generation total will be nothing but equal to S generation 1 plus S generation 2. Now you can see S generation 1 will be equal to delta S1 plus del Q by T, and S generation 2 will be delta S2 minus del Q by T. So let me write S generation 1 as delta S1 plus del Q by T, and let me write S generation 2 as nothing but equal to delta S2 minus del Q by T. So now del Q by T will be cancelling out, and finally I will be having S generation total as nothing but equal to delta S1 plus delta S2. Now for first block we have change of temperature from from T1 to T. So I can write M into C ln T divided by T1 and plus R ln V2 by V1. So V2 by V1 is 0. So for the solid change, for solids and liquids, entropy change is nothing but MC ln T by T1. Similarly for second block I will be having MC ln T divided by T2. Okay, I know all the values. If I substitute, I will be finally finding my entropy generation as nothing but 0.1795 kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, so is this question clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes.
del Q by T in both the process, how it could be same as the temperature in the first block is 250 degrees Celsius and in the second block it is 25 only.
So what I am saying that obviously while heat is transferring, in that case what will be happening, in between the heat transfer and temperature there is some function. Okay, so that functional relationship will be actually holding similar for both the cases. So that's why overall magnitude of this term will be same, because initially if you see for first block, initial temperature is very high, which is 250, and for second block initial temperature is small. So during the initial times of heat transfer you will be finding that del Q by T magnitude will be smaller for first block and larger for the second block. But as you will be moving with the as the heat transfer process will be continuing, both these heat transfer del Q by T ratios will be moving in the opposite direction, and as a whole over the integral term if you see, that will be coming as a same value. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because you cannot keep this T as constant, because this T is varying with time. So that's why that T variation, if you include, as a whole we will be finding that quantity as same.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now let me take problem number 2. So in case of problem 2, what we are having, a reversible heat engine is there, and this reversible heat engine is exchanging the heat with 3 reservoirs A, B and C, and it is producing 1400 kilojoule of work output. Reservoir A supplies 3000 kilojoule of heat at 500 Kelvin to the engine. If temperature of reservoir B and C are 400 and 300 Kelvin, respectively, we have to determine that how much heat reservoir B and C exchange with the engine and in what direction. Okay, so if I just draw the schematic representation, I have some reservoir A whose temperature is 500 Kelvin, then it is actually supplying 3000 kilojoule of heat. Say I am calling it as nothing but QA to one heat engine, and that heat engine, and this particular heat engine is having actually some connection with another reservoir at 400 Kelvin and one more reservoir at 300 Kelvin. And with these two reservoirs, the transfer of heat can be in any of the direction, and this transfer of heat is actually represented as QB. Similarly, over here, we don't know the direction, so let me call it as QC. Now, arrow I am indicating in both the direction that it can be towards the heat engine, it can be from the heat engine, that we are not knowing. Okay. So, and also it is given that this particular heat engine is actually producing 1400 kilojoule amount of work. Okay. Now what we have to do, we are having actually two unknown parameters, QB and QC. So these are two unknowns over here. So if we are having two unknowns, how many equations we require to solve? We require two equations. Okay. So what we will be doing, the very first equation I can write based on the conservation of energy principle. So conservation of energy principle, based on that I can define that my total heat interaction is say QA plus QB plus QC. So at the moment what I am considering, to QB and QC I am assigning positive sign only. Okay, and ultimately we will be seeing that if we are getting negative sign for any of these quantities, it means whatever the direction in which we assumed heat transfer, that is in the opposite direction. Okay, so that we will be able to conclude. So now you can see this 3000 is actually moving heat away from the reservoir. So at the moment we are considering that heat moving away from the reservoir is say positive. Okay, this point is clear. So what I am considering, at the moment I am considering that heat moving away from the reservoir is positive. So that's why QA I have assigned as positive term, and I will be assigning QB and QC also I am assigning at the moment as positive only, that this heat is also releasing from these reservoirs. So whatever this net heat interaction we will be having, that will be equal to nothing but amount of work produced by the heat engine. Okay, because heat engine will be operating in an reversible cyclic manner. Okay, now QA is having
The
sorry?
point value of Q is heat given to the engine.
Yes, heat given to the engine means moving away from the reservoir. Okay,
Okay, sir.
now QA is 3000 plus QB plus QC equal to 1400, because 1400 kilojoule of work is done by the heat engine. So finally I am finding that my QB plus QC is nothing but equal to minus 1600. Okay, so this is one equation I have got. Now another thing that I have to do, this is a reversible heat engine, so I can write Clausius inequality that cyclic integral del Q by T equal to 0. Okay, so this I can write from the Clausius inequality. So that's why what will be happening, I can simply say that QA divided by TA plus QB divided by TB plus QC divided by TC is equal to 0. Is this point correct? Because it's a reversible heat engine, so from Clausius inequality I can write integral del Q by T equal to 0. Now here if I substitute the value of QA as 3000 and TA as 500 Kelvin, finally I will be finding one equation as 3 QB plus 4 QC, that will be equal to nothing but minus 7200. Okay, so this will be the equation I will be getting from this Clausius inequality. Now I have one equation over here and second equation over here. So if I solve these two equations, I will be able to easily determine the value of QB and QC. So if you solve, you will be finding QB as nothing but equal to 800 kilojoule with positive sign, and QC, if you calculate, you will be finding equal to minus QC, you will be finding minus 2400 kilojoule. Okay, so it means you have initially assumed that heat is being added to the system. So for QB, you have got positive magnitude. It means your assumption was correct. So from B, I will be having arrow only towards the engine. But for point number C, our assumption is actually not correct because we have got negative sign. So that's why heat will be moving away from the engine and it will be added to the reservoir. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me take up the next problem. In the next problem, we are having nitrogen at 200 degrees Celsius and 300 kilopascals pressure. So this is the condition of T1 and this is my P1. This is in a piston cylinder which is having volume of 5 liters. So V1 is equal to 5 liters. And this piston is actually locked with the pin. So with the pin, we have locked the piston. Now forces on the piston require a pressure inside of 200 kilopascals to balance it without the pin. Okay, so if we are holding the piston with the pin, obviously it will be staying at its position. But if say in case we are not having any pin or external arrangement to hold the piston, then the weight of piston is such that, or whatever the external force is acting on the piston, these are such that it requires 200 kilopascal pressure inside the gas to balance the piston position. Okay. Now this pin is removed and piston quickly comes to its equilibrium position without any heat transfer. So we are not having any heat transfer and piston is reaching to the equilibrium position. So if piston is reaching to the equilibrium position, it means gas is reaching to a pressure of 200 kilopascals. So it is given to us that P2 pressure is nothing but 200 kilopascals. Okay. Now we have to determine final pressure P2, temperature T2 and volume V2, and also we have to determine how much entropy generation we are having in this process. Okay. So as I told you that initial situation is inside gas pressure is, so this is my piston and I have some pin over here and inside pressure is actually 300 kilopascals. And what it is given in the question that if say I want this piston to rest, whatever the forces are acting on the piston, these are such that these will be balanced by inlet pressure of something around nothing but 200 kilopascal. So it means whatever the weight of the piston is there and any force which is acting on the piston from the external side, that is actually corresponding to or equivalent to a 200 kilopascal pressure from the inside. Okay. And once we will be removing this pin, obviously what will be happening? My piston will be displacing and it will be reaching to the equilibrium position of 200 kilopascals. Okay. So this is the physical situation. So from here I can conclude that my P2 pressure will be equal to 200 kilopascal. So one part, final P2 actually we have already solved. Now let me do the detailed solution for this one. So if I provide you the solution, so let me first write the initial condition. T1 is equal to 200 degrees Celsius. So in Kelvin, if you see, it will be 473 Kelvin. Pressure P1 is equal to 300 kilopascals. Then we have initial volume as nothing but equal to 5 liter, which I can write 5 into 10 to power minus 3 meter cube. Then I can determine the value of a specific volume using PV is equal to RT. So I can write P1, V1 is equal to RT1. So from here, I know the value of P1, T1 and R for the nitrogen also I can calculate from the property table. So if I substitute these values, I will be finding value of specific volume at 0.1 as nothing but equal to 0.4525 meter cubes per kg. Now specific volume I have calculated and volume is given. So that's why I can determine the mass of the gas inside the tank, and M1, say initial state mass is actually equal to 0.011 kg. Okay. Now we are having this piston cylinder arrangement and there is no outlet to the cylinder. So that's why this M1 will be equal to M2 also, and let me call it as nothing but M. Okay. Now if I talk about final state, already I have determined that final pressure will be nothing but equal to 200 kilopascals. Okay. And from ideal gas equation, considering nitrogen as ideal gas under the given conditions, I can write P1 V1 by T1 will be equal to P2 V2 by T2. Okay. So now I know P1, I know V1, I know T1, and I know the value of P2. Okay. So from here, I can calculate the value of V2 divided by T2. So P2 by T2 is taking the form 1.586 into 10 to power minus 5. This is the value of V2 by T2. Now if I apply the first law of thermodynamics, from the first law of thermodynamics, I can write Q122 minus W122 will be equal to U2 minus U1. Okay. Now Q122 is 0 because it is given in the question that we are not having any heat transfer during the process. So that's why Q122 is 0. W122, now it is one very important point here you have to carefully see. We know that W122 in case of irreversible process, this is a irreversible process now because it's not happening in quasi-static manner and gas pressure is 300, whereas whatever the net force which is acting on the piston, that is equivalent to pressure of 200. So it means when we do calculate work in case of irreversible process, we write over here P external into dV. Now it is given in the question that external forces are acting on the piston in such a fashion so that gas pressure of 200 kilopascals is required to balance. So it means external pressure is constant and that is nothing but equivalent to that of 200 kilopascals. So that's why while I will be writing the expression of work, I can write minus P external. So P external will be a constant parameter. So minus P external into V2 minus V1, that will be equal to U2 minus U1. And U2 minus U1 I can write simply M into CV into T2 minus T1. Now for nitrogen, we know value of CV from our property table. If we see, value of CV for nitrogen is nothing but equal to 0.745 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay. Now if I substitute the values in this particular equation, I will be finding minus pressure is 200 kilopascals into V2. So V2 actually, if you see my previous slide, in the previous slide I have calculated one ratio of V2 by T2 as 1.586 into 10 to power minus 5. So I can write V2 as this value times T2. So in place of V2, I will be writing 1.586 times 10 to power minus 5 into T2 minus V1. V1 is 5 liters. So 5 into 10 to power minus 3 meter cube. This will be equal to nothing but our mCV/dt. So mass is 0.011 and CV is 0.745 times T2 minus T1 is actually 473 Kelvin. Okay. So if you solve this equation, we are having only unknown. I will be able to find out the value of T2 as equal to 429 Kelvin. And I know the ratio between V2 by T2. So if T2 is known, V2 will be equal to nothing but 6.8 liters. Okay. Now what I have to do, I have to determine that what is the amount of entropy generation in this process. Okay. So if I apply the entropy equation, S2 minus S1 will be equal to integral, or I can simply write say Q122 divided by T plus S generation. Now heat transfer is given as 0. So this implies that S generation will be equal to nothing but S2 minus S1. Now nitrogen is a gas. So for nitrogen, S2 minus S1 I can write as mCv ln T2 by T1. I am knowing T2, I know T1 times plus R times ln of V2 by V1. I know V2, I know V1. So if I do substitution in this equation, I will be finding overall entropy generation as 0.00171 kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, this point is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with this, let me now first close this session.
Sir,